Hmm. Now, what you're talking about sounds a lot like being lean and streamlining a process to make it successful. Because it doesn't make sense if you bouncing all around. And I'm starting to, and I've taken lean classes for God knows how long, but I'm starting to learn that too. That those things that I've learned in the workplace can be transferred over to your personal life,
Mhm.
and it just makes it a lot easier.
Mhm.
So now, what makes you choose to work with a business or not work with a business? Have you told people no? Have you turned down businesses?
Oh, I tell people no all the time. Um, no is one of my favorite words, but it is one of my favorite words because I recognize when I turn people down, and I want to be clear about the way I'm saying it. I can usually tell in the first like couple of minutes or so, or like if a person is coming to a class, or based on the questions that they're answering, that they're not client ready. And so I tell people just come to the free classes. And I've been doing that for years because if I can tell that it's going to be more for me to have to do things for you as opposed to you're not a self starter, that type of person doesn't really, work well for me because everything that you do in business is going to take time and it's going to take effort and energy. And if you don't want to put in the effort and energy, you're not going to be an ideal person. It's going to be harder for me to work with you. Um, and I'm looking at that with the person who has a lower budget. The person that has a bigger budget, that's just like, yeah, we just want to hire you to do this. This is what we need. And here's the money. That's an ideal client because I am the type of person who does not like to be micromanaged. I like you to give me time, date, location, the specifications of what you want, and then I can run wild and then I can do it. That works better for me. But when we're talking about more of a one-on-one person, based on some of the stuff that people ask, I can tell that they just need to come to the free things and maybe they need to work out stuff for themselves first and then make a decision to pay me because I think people need to kind of be to a certain point and you can tell when a person's not going to do something. So like the person that says, oh yeah, I want to start a blog because I want to get more attention and I want to do blase, blase. And then I say to them, oh, pardon me. Well, do you like to write? No, I don't really like to write. Well, what are you starting a blog for? Because that's the whole point of a blog. So I'm just like, okay, well, if you don't want to do that, do you feel comfortable being in front of the camera? Because instead of you just blogging, you could just go ahead and you could just do a video and then make it more of a vlog, a video blog, right? Yeah, I'm not really comfortable in front of the camera. I don't want to do that either. Okay, so then what do you want to do? So then do you feel comfortable talking where we can record your voice and then people still get the understanding of what you do? Oh yeah, I can do that. So then maybe you need a podcast, right? So everybody wants so many things because they see other people with them, but then they're not willing to stick with them. They're not willing to do all of the things. So I just try to look at what's the one thing that you want to do and just build from there. And I think that yeah, we can have all of this social media. It's great. But you have a lot of people that once the live feature went live on Facebook, it's all kinds of foolishness out here now. Everybody does not deserve live, so it's kind of one of those things where you have the tools, but some people just don't get it and don't understand it. And when you start to look at us small businesses, the content that you put out personally does reflect on your business. And I've had people that I look at and I'm looking at their personal stuff like, you are not my type of client. Because look at the stuff that you're doing over here. Don't you think people associate that with your brand? Like, And I mean, before social media was really popping like this, it was the same thing in real life. And I'm just like, you got to look at what a person is doing. Does it line up? Does it add up? Because if we can see it and it's not a true thing, it doesn't make me feel confident in giving you money for anything because it doesn't align. So it's kind of one of those things where you can kind of sense it and a person can only keep stuff from you but for so many seconds or minutes now when you can look online and really see what's going on.
I'm trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you. So, with that being said, like, have you ever experienced or has anyone ever come to you with kind of like the imposter syndrome?
Oh my God. Kim, hold up. You don't, first of all, Kim, the fact that you just said that to me. Okay, now I'm gonna have to do a groundbreaking news. So I have the whole class that's going to be my first class that I'm releasing that is talking about the whole imposter syndrome. And I was going to wait to release it because my birthday is next week. So I'm just going to tell people that it's coming. I was going to just throw it on them, but the way you just came out, yes. Why? Because I talked to several amazing women, and it's mostly women. I'm sure it happens to men too, right? But I talked to several amazing women, and they just kept saying imposter syndrome, imposter syndrome. I don't know if I should apply to this. I don't know if I should do this. I don't know. And I was just like, hold up, let me tell you your resume. When I'm running down all of the things that they did that I knew, I mean, and mind you, it's probably stuff I didn't know, but when I ran down to them, how amazing they were and all of the stuff that they did and how proud they should be of themselves, it was like, then the light bulb went off for them. But I'm just like, why didn't you think you were worthy of it? So what you got to look at is like, men, if there's a, let's just say a job out there and it tells you, okay, these are all the qualifications you need to get. Men will be like, all right, I got 50% of that, so I'm gonna go ahead and apply. Women won't apply for the same position unless they got 80, 90% of whatever the thing is, because they feel like, well, I don't have that, so maybe I shouldn't apply. This is the thing that I've learned, and I do it all the time. I will sell somebody something that I don't even have done because I know that I have the capacity and the capability to be able to put it together. Somebody just hired me to do something. Somebody just hired me to do something. This was this week, matter of fact. And I was like, I don't even teach on that. Where did you get that from? And I just said, yeah, I could do that. And I took the contract. But I'm thinking, I think that because of my affiliations, this person felt like I should teach on that subject matter. But then I thought about it. Who am I to say that I can't? It's not that I can't. I just didn't put a class together on that particular thing. I'm well versed in it. I mean, I have knowledge in it, but I sent this person a curriculum, and what she asked for was not on the curriculum. And if another person feels confident enough to hire me for something that I know I can do, then it's my fault if I don't fulfill whatever that is. If I don't get that money, that's my fault. So women oftentimes will have that imposter syndrome because I think for some reason we want to just be all extra humble and we don't want to really, try to shine too much. And I'm just like, that's what we're here for. Like, look at all the things you have already accomplished. If you said yes to more opportunities that were beneficial to you, you would just blossom. But we say no to opportunities so much because we don't feel like we check all of the boxes. Check some of those boxes, learn what you need to learn, throw that stuff out there. And the thing is, if you're like me, I will never, ever, ever go into something without doing the research. So I have from now to October to come up with what I need to for this thing. It'll be done probably next week. But the fact that we don't take the opportunity because of a percentage of not feeling a certain way, that's our fault. Like, anybody that doesn't take that, they have to really run their resume down to themselves and then say, okay, you know what? I am capable. Yes, I can do that. That's it. Because how did that one person get to a next spot if they didn't take that first leap to achieve whatever that goal was? And that's what you got to do.
I'm so happy you said that. I got so many more questions because I'm sitting up here, as you're talking, I'm sitting up here like, oh my God, she touched on this, and the other. Okay, the first thing I want to get into is value. How do you place value for yourself or your brand? Because I feel that, and that was, Can't Not the Hustle was based out of a segment of my show where I had some of the people who were on that Zoom. Mm-hmm. They were in my studio, or they were in the radio station with me, and we were just talking about the challenges that we face as women, as Black women, and having to place value on something, and then someone comes and they're looking for a hookup, or mm-hmm. someone comes, oh, so-and-so's doing the same thing. I could go over there. Why are you charging so much? Why should I choose you? Like, how do you get through all those different challenges?
That's easy for me to say because a lot of times you have experience, you have connections, you have a Rolodex of people you can call on, you have resources that other people don't have, and that's why they keep coming to you. Because if so-and-so was so much better, what are you doing over here? Like, go over to so-and-so. And what I've seen, how do I want to say this in the nicest way? So before I started my nonprofit, there was another, well, actually two different ones, but I'm not going to get into the names, anything. Women's organizations who, one was saying, okay, we're giving confidence, right? And so essentially, you know how things sound the same, but it's always something different. And we're doing such and such. And my thing was, we weren't even doing an organization per se. We were just doing some events that we loved, that we felt were, you know, beneficial to women. So then this other thing, they make this nonprofit organization, and then basically what they were doing is hustling everybody out of their money. The next one that we see is like, okay, you see it's kind of a remnant of that. Then what they're doing is they're saying, okay, well, we have these things that you can come to. We have these awards that we're giving out. I had already done awards things, everything. So I think people pick apart the things that they like and then they run with them a lot of times. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, so you giving awards, but you don't say who the awards are going to until the people get there. And then the people that get to the awards thing, all of a sudden, because you showed up, you got an award. So I'm like, so you didn't really pick anybody. You just wanted to see who came. So this is just some stuff that's transpired over the last couple of years. So I'm like, if I'm honoring somebody, I'm going to tell you who's being honored. And I'm going to tell you the accolades, and I'm going to go over all of this. And I'm looking at the way people are doing things. The ideas and the concepts behind them, wonderful. It's the execution oftentimes. So when I'm looking at that and I'm looking at the value, it's the list. It is, but it's also the part that's behind it, which I think is the intent. And I think that people can see with whatever I do that I'm always trying to educate people. Sometimes you got to do it in a funny way, but it's always been about that. And I try to tell people, now I'm going to make sure I look good. I'm going to make sure the lashes is done, the hair is done, all of the rest of that, that's going to happen. But the event itself is not about just me looking good. Like, I want to feel good when I get to something. And I see a lot of women's events that focus so much on the look. And I'm just like, the look can be wonderful, but if when I get there, the substance is not there, I can't really rock with that. But that's what I see. It's so many people that focus on how the event looks and the flowers and the this and the that. And I'm just like, but where's the education? If I go to another event where a blogger or influencer is telling me, oh, you just need to be authentic on social media. Can you tell me how? Can you give me a site? Can you reference something? Nah, because what you want to do is get me into your program. When you do something with me, I'm like, oh, you need to use this, this, and that. This is that app. This is why you do it. So I think that the value has to be not in just looking good as far as an event goes, or as far as the business goes, but when you really see that this person is giving you something, and then you can say, okay, I want to be a part of that, and I don't mind spending my money with you. And I think that oftentimes with our businesses, what you did, let me back up. What you did, the Can't Knock the Hustle, you put together an amazing set of individuals. And I think that to me, the people you chose, you could tell there was clear intent. You could tell that you were like, let me put together some dope people and let them meet, because maybe they don't know about each other. Now, the only person that I knew on there was Tamika, but that's because she's here in North Carolina. Everybody else, though, I was like, yo, for real? That's what you're doing? Oh, okay. Yeah. And it was like a little boost of like just Black power. And I was thinking to myself, like, what if all of us could really actually like do something together, like for real? How powerful would that be? And to me, that was amazing. And I think that even with the value of that, I think that there was just an issue as far as technology with the Wi-Fi. Outside of that, though, what was said, how it was done, I think that it could just be improved upon. But that to me is something that was valuable. And I know that there are other people in other cities and other states. The putting together of that, the picking the right people, that's an important thing that's valuable that that needs to be monetized.